Hello there, welcome back to a video. Don't mind me, I have new hair. It's a little bit bright. As I keep saying to everybody, I look like an X-Man. And then somebody was like, what X-Man? And I was like, I don't know, there was one blonde hair and I feel like that. So I had other topics to talk about, but this one has come up today because I had a conversation yesterday that I just need to get this video recorded and out there in case somebody listens to this and it impacts their mind, because we need to change our minds about this. Because, well, let me begin. So the title of today's video is, Are You God? And when I say you, I'm obviously talking about me too, because me and you, we're both humans, because obviously dogs can't really listen to this video, and then they can, but they don't really understand what I'm saying. So, you and me, are you God? Wait, before you get upset at the question and before you go away thinking I'm not listening to this, just hear me out for a second. Actually, hear me out for the whole video, please. Okay, let's begin. Right, so I was out yesterday. I did something that I never do. I met up with a stranger. Never ever in the history of my head will I meet up with a stranger. Anyway, so then I met up with a stranger and he's like into music and stuff, so then I'm like dragging my friend along because I'm just like, I can't go by myself, like, please, because I never do this stuff. And then she has a baby, so I dragged her and her baby along, and then we just like, the three of us was having a conversation. Bearing in mind she's quite similar to me, so she wants to talk about deep things. Her mind has deep questions and she also suffers with sadness, so we have like a lot in common. So obviously the conversation always ends up going there, like no matter what space I inhabit, it always goes there. Anyway, whatever, anyway, because the stuff that he started to talk about, obviously, you know, my friend being the way that she is, she would have been like, oh, so what do you mean about that? And so then it always was going to get to this, and actually little to do with music, right? Anyway, and then like this guy, he was describing his beliefs about the world and the process of the world and how living works, right? So this is how you live successfully, positively, correctly, fine. And then I was like, there's something odd about this though, because there is like something about it just doesn't seem, you know, in my head when I think about life, I think of this like fairy tale dust that's just like, I don't know, like just like beautiful and amazing. And there's something about the way he's speaking that it doesn't contain that. It contains it a little bit, because I can hear it when he talks about success. But when he's talking about the brain, I can't feel the dust. I could only feel discipline and knowledge. And for me, discipline and knowledge, there's something wrong with it. Anyway, so I was walking towards my car because I had to drop my friend home. It was, you know, her son had his bedtime. And we was walking towards my car and I said, okay, well, let me ask you a question. You know, the God that created all of this, because he does believe in some type of God that created all of it. I said, so the God that created all of it, are you that God? And he said, no. And I was like, oh no. Oh, and every time when people, I don't know why, it shocks me so much. Every time I hear somebody say no to that question, it just really shocks me. And I'm like, whoa. Oh, okay. Anyway, so then my friends started to debate with him about it, and I feel like then the debate like just kind of rose up a little bit, because, you know, my friend was saying how, but then that means then that, you know, the religious God that people have painted, because the thing is, religious people are trying to come with this new idea of life, this better idea of life, but really it just feels like, and what my friend was saying, which I agree, is like it feels like you're just repainting the story, but deep down it's all just the same story, but you're just repainting it in different ways and saying it in different ways to make you yourself have a better understanding, or yourself, it makes you feel better, but really you still got the same fundamental truths behind it. There was a God, it created you, then it left you, now you're on your way with the support of the God, but you're on your way in this freedom, but you know, the rules are the rules and stuff, and oops. Now I have to pause here because I just have to like regain my focus here because I can't tell you how disappointing and heart-dropping it is to hear somebody talk this way. And bearing in mind, I don't talk to people, so actually I'm sure in all different ways people believe in different ways, believe in the same fundamental truth, that we are, I'm going to put it bluntly, we are slaves to our environment, which is another point that I'm going to get to at the end, right? But just to to like quickly touch on what it is that he was saying, right? The laws are put in place and people justify that, science justifies that obviously, because like for example, if there was no law for the table to remain a table, then a table wouldn't be able to function as a table. Oops. I already have an argument for that, like I always do, because I sit in my bedroom, I talk out loud to myself all the time, and I have loads of things to say about everything. So already, if you say to me, oh well, then if there was no laws, then the table would stop being a table because there's no law to keep the table as a table. So because you need a table, then that's why laws exist. And I say, what about whatever the table wants to do, it will do. So when the table decides that it wants to be hard and in place, then I will use it. But if the table changed its mind and didn't want to be a table anymore because the laws are not in place, then I'll just get on with it, because like, why am I going to tell the table what to do? And it's like, well, I said it to him once that I really don't mean to offend you, so please don't be offended what I'm saying, but this just all sounds like, how do I make sure that everything stays the way that I need it to be, so then we are safe? And maybe this is a reaction to not trusting your environment. So the fact that, for example, oh, I need a table, so for me to rely on me having a table, let me make sure that the table stays as a table. When really, if you and the table were best friends, you could probably agree on when you want to use a table, and then the table will come and give itself to you as a table. But because you don't trust, or you don't have the relationship or the connection to all things, then of course you don't trust it, and therefore you need laws, which actually now is starting to make more sense. So now I can start to calm down about people who believe these things, because maybe it just comes from fear and you don't even know it, because in his head he doesn't have fear. Him understanding life gives him no fear, it gives him positivity. And actually he probably wouldn't, he would argue, say no, I still have fear, but whatever, right? And I feel like it comes from fear, like all of these conclusions about life comes from fear. But it's funny because then in his philosophy of life, you got the laws that are set in place that you cannot change them. He used the word for it, I can't remember what the word was. But outside of all of those things, you have your freedom. So how do you do? What do? You can do anything. Oh my gosh, this is a massive playground, but you know, the tree stays as a tree, you know, the ride stays as a ride, the street stays as a tree. Sorry, my brain. The street stays as a street, and you stay as you. No. Okay, so yeah, so my brain obviously doesn't work like that, because like I said to you, right, if the table wants to change, I don't care. If the laws want to change, I don't care. If I float out into the sky because gravity decided to not work anymore, and again, people want to have the safety of things being the same day after day, so therefore they want gravity to be real, so then they can have the safety of staying on the floor. Whereas me, I feel like I don't want to be scared of what will happen if gravity changed, because I want to trust that life will always bring me beautiful things, which people in these conversations, they think that that's how they are, because they do trust the laws of attraction and the laws, but they trust what remains the same rather than infinite life, like full stop, I trust life. So if gravity decided to stop, then we're gonna go to the sky, and people are like, I'm gonna die up there, no, we must stay here. And it's like, well, if I'm gonna die, then I just might as well die, because what is life anyway? If life did that, then I just don't want to be alive, which obviously I always get to that point anyway, because I just don't want to be alive in this stupidity. Like if gravity changed and I went to the sky floating upwards and then I died, like how stupid is life to do that? So then if life is stupid, then I don't want to be alive. But I have a feeling, because I don't want to be stupid and I don't think that life is stupid, I have a feeling that if I got up to the sky because gravity changed, then so will the sky, whatever, it will change, and then I won't die, and then I'll just carry on floating somewhere, and then I'll be able to breathe up there. Like, I don't know, like my brain just thinks that way, and I know that a lot of brains don't think that way, which we'll get to the point. Anyway, so I've put here a note. I said made of God. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, because his answer was, I said, you know, are you God? And he said, no, I am made of God, is exactly what my mum says, and it's actually exactly it's exactly what a lot of people say. Like, you were made, what did the Christian people say? That you were made in the likeness of God. And then this guy said, you are made of God. And then spiritual people say, you know, God made the souls out of its body. So literally, you're all saying the same thing, but you're just saying it in different ways, but it's fundamentally the same thing. Like, God went like that, right? And created life. But yet God is here, which obviously I have a problem with that anyway, because, sorry, this is just such a ranting thing for me, isn't it? Like, I could just go on forever about this stuff. Like, how dare you, you know, tell me that I don't have a right to speak to God because I'm under a lesson, I'm under a process. You know, have respect, Nayna. And actually, let's get into that subject before I go into what I'm saying here, right? Accept what you are. You are a human experiencing a human in a brain.
What?
And deal with it. How are you going to deal with it? It all comes down to limitations. So you have these limitations, and some people will interrupt and say, well, no, you're naming it a limitation, but really it's just the function, right? And again, I'll always go back to, but who created the function? Who created that function? Somebody that is above you, right? No, it's just God created it for me to have fun. Okay, but if I say that I want to change that function, you're telling me that I'm not allowed. And what about if that was fun for me? And then they will say, maybe, because I make up these like conversations in my head, they will say, I don't know what they would say to that, because obviously then, you know, how can you argue about that? Like, so I want to change the function because I want to play a different way, right? So then what would you say about that? Well, you need to figure out, like, they'll just literally probably try and divert the question and change it into a way that supports what they are saying, that the laws are the laws, and as long as you follow the laws, you could do whatever you want, which is exactly what the government have done. And prior to the government, everybody does it. We do it to our children. As long as you follow the rules, you are okay. Why do we do that to each other? Why has the government made a whole world based on following laws? As long as you follow the laws. Anyway, my mind now, right? I see that as sad. I see that as slavery.
Yeah.
I see that as unfair. And what I was saying to my friend this morning, because I voice noted her about it, because I was just like, I had such a bad night's sleep. I don't know if it was to do with that or not, right? But I said to her, yeah, that when I connect to the energies of life, so I don't talk to nobody, I feel life to be this really nice thing. So for example, I want to change gravity. Okay. I want to change the table. Okay.
Yeah.
This guy, he would say, okay, well then change the table then.
What?
You can't, can you? So what does that tell you? So it's like they base their theories based on what you can see. And I said to him yesterday, because he said something similar, and I said, okay, but we did that with everything, right? We didn't know that we could do it. Then we did it, and now here we are, and it's changed, right? So I can't say that because I can't do something right now, it doesn't mean that it's possible, because look at everything that we've done. It came from the impossible. And so then that would always be my argument. Okay, but it's impossible right now, so no, I can't change this table right now, because first of all, does the table even want to change? I don't know, right? No, I can't change gravity right now, because is gravity its own entity, and does the gravity like have a life? Like, I don't know, like, can I talk to the gravity? I have so many questions, right? But anyway, when I'm away from that, the energy of life is like super duper kind and nice. So then if like I said, oh, can I do something, it would be like, yes. Now the reason why I'm depressed, yeah, and the reason why I want to die is because I don't understand why I feel that about life, yet I don't have it. So for example, can I talk to God? Yes, but you can't talk to God. And it's like, what? I thought you said that I can talk to God. Yes, you can, but you can't because you're stuck. And I'm like, okay, why am I stuck? And it's just this whole thing that's so confusing as to why I feel all these like really nice things, yet this world doesn't represent what I feel, which is that life is way nicer than to have limitations and to have laws. And so you can change gravity, you can change all things. There doesn't need to be laws. You only need laws because you're scared of things being out of control and not supporting you and what you want to do. So then therefore you force these laws to stay in place. Now, because I'm stuck here and I'm confused, I've started to try to understand what the process is and why it's happening this way. And I'm going to actually conclude with saying that I noticed, yeah, that I say a lot and I have to keep editing it out and I hate it. So I don't know why I keep saying So anyway, so I'm going to conclude, yeah, that I think, again, I've concluded this before, I'm going to say it again, our brains, the brain, everybody's brains, yeah, is God manifested.
Wow.
And I'm not talking about, because then that makes sense what he was saying about the God, you know, the first God is not me, but I still feel like it's the same thing. I still feel like it is the same consciousness, like it is the same thing. It's just like playing different parts. Like the chair is the same God that created all things and it's just molded itself which it sounds like the same thing as what everybody else is saying. I don't feel that the first God is still there going, oh, look at my creations. I don't feel like it works like that. I feel like I am that God that said, oh, look at my creations, but I'm just here as well as the God. Anyway, back to the brain. I feel like the brain is a God, and because we're collectively here together, all doing different things, therefore we haven't tapped into the possibility of change. So it's really possible that all of the brains coming together, we will control our existence, our environment, our path. We can control it fully if we just all came together. So I used to say it before and I'm gonna say it again. I think that we could change the color of the moon if we wanted to, but I just feel like the moon is a living entity, so it just depends. Like, I think it just depends if the moon wants to be purple or not. I think the moon won't mind. Because if somebody said to me, Nayna, can you be purple? I'd be like, okay. Because why do I hold on to things for? And we hold on to them because of fear that, I don't know, and I need to discuss these things with people. So I am doing that. I am getting out more. So that's a good thing, isn't it? Anyways, our brains are much more powerful. I think our brains are a God and we are creating life. And so therefore, as long as we stick to this narrative that we keep talking about of laws and functions that have been put in place, as long as we keep giving it power in that sense, using your brain, then you're gonna stay just like this. And I don't really want to stay like this, and I don't know, and I'm just trying to find the others that are like me. I want to find people that are like me. That are just like, Nayna, when you talk, you talk sense. When others talk, I get confused. And it's like, thank you. I just want to find people that are more like me, because it's like, where are these brains, and why are these brains in this world so limited? They believe in a limitation. They believe in gravity. And why is my brain like so not like that? And it gets me to the point of like, if the world is the way you're saying the world is, all these laws are real, life and God is like sitting there going, hello there, I am the God up in the sky. I created you. No, you may not speak to me. You get on with your journeys, learn your lesson, ascend. I don't know. If that's the God, yeah, what am I doing here? Talking all this stuff. Where do I get it from? Why am I alive? I'm like an anomaly. I'm just a weirdo. And so then I shouldn't be here. I should be dead. But here I am, still alive, still talking with all these ideas. Where did they come from? Why am I saying it? Where did they come from? So then I just feel like there might be something, and could it be that this world is being enslaved and we are here and the people that are like me are here to break the slavery? And doesn't it feel nice to be able to talk to gravity and say, well, should we change? Doesn't it feel nice to be able to talk to the moon and say, do you want to be purple? Doesn't it feel nice that the table can do whatever it wants to do? Like, doesn't that feel nice? And ask yourself seriously, if that doesn't feel nice to you, yeah, is it because you just want the table because you need the table, and you don't want the table to just because you're scared that one day you're going to need the table's not going to be there, and then like you need it? And isn't that based on like stress, anxiety, fear, because you need to have deadlines and you need to do things after this. Like, it's all slavery based, which makes you fearful, it makes you stressed, it makes you anxious. And so then if none of that was there, because obviously that's all slavery and we need to change all of that, then wouldn't you just be nice to the table and let the table do whatever it wanted to do? So that's where my brain's at with it. To answer the question, are you God? Yes, you are. You see how quick I said it as well? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Right, nice to speak to you. I really hope that we come together so then we can stop like having these conversations, because these conversations are quite like just distressing. Like, it just makes me sad, and it's just like, oh God, is that what life is? Like, because you believe it so hard, and I'll sit there and I'm like, God, is that what life is? But then I just remember that I have a brain and my brain's doing exactly the same thing, and it's like, wait a minute. And then I just get back to like the same cycle again, which is tiring. It's tiring. Anyway, have a nice evening. Again, sorry about how bright my hair is. It will get less brighter as the time goes on. Have a good day. Have a good evening. I hope you find God, if I don't. And I hope that you're happy, which obviously a lot of people are and a lot of people aren't. And we should all be happy. So yeah, have a good time. And yes, I'll see you next time. Bye.